When you deliver a presentation or a training, whether that's online or in person, it is so important that you keep your audience engaged. That's why I've been using Slido for the past 3 years in every single one of my presentations. So in today's video, I want to show you what Slido is, how I actually use it when I'm delivering a webinar or presenting something in person, and lastly, how you can use Slido directly with PowerPoint. So the experience can be seamless for yourself, but also for your participants. Hello everyone, Scott Friesen here at Simpletivity, helping you to get more done and enjoy less stress. So first, let's take a quick look at what Slido is. If you go to the slido.com website, you can open up an account and quickly and easily start to create your own polls, your own questions, things that you would like to ask or have your audience participate in as a part of your presentation. All your users need to do is go to slido.com and enter in the code which you get to select. So in this example, I'm of course using Simpletivity. They don't have to install anything. They don't have to download anything. All they need to do is open up a web browser on their phone, on a tablet, or some other device and participate in my polls. So for example, here, maybe I have a multiple choice question that I'd like to ask the entire audience at the beginning of my presentation. This can be a great way to feel the pulse of your audience, see what people are thinking even before you begin your training or your presentation. I'm going to hit this play button here, and you can see this is a question that I've created in advance. Now, in this example, I've actually had 5 participants already give me answers in this case. And in the view mode, the thing that I would actually be sharing with my audience is going to look like this. So it looks incredible. It looks professional. I've got my branding here in the top left-hand corner. I've got this text telling people exactly where to go and what to do in order to participate and join this poll. I even have a large QR code, so it's very easy for people to use their phone and jump into this right away. And the great thing about this tool is that everything updates in real time. And what I love to see is how people get excited as these bars change over time, either as more people enter into the poll and give their answer, or maybe some of them even change their answer along the way. It's always great to see what is going to be the winner and what people are really thinking in any training that I'm giving. But let's see how Slido has made it that much easier for us to integrate these polls, including their audience Q&A session, directly into PowerPoint. With the Slido PowerPoint extension installed, I have access to all of Slido's tools and features right here from within my presentation. So I can take an existing presentation with all of my slides and everything that I've prepared in advance, and then I can add Slido polls and questions, even an audience Q&A directly into my slides. And the great thing about this is that I no longer have to switch between my presentation and then switching to my browser tab where I would normally manage my Slido results and those Slido questions. So for example, here is that exact same question that we saw before. I've already added it to my slide. So if I go into presentation mode, and let's say this is the slide that I'm talking about and I'm discussing, all I need to do is advance to the very next slide, and it's going to open up this poll. So everyone who is viewing this, especially if I'm doing this via a webinar, I don't need a separate monitor. I don't need to hide another tab or another window. I can jump directly into this question. Everyone can participate and give their answer. As the trainer or the instructor, I can talk a little bit about the results here, and then all I need to do is advance to my very next slide. A seamless integration between polling my audience and returning to my presentation. Now, if I want to add an existing question or maybe create a new poll within my presentation, all I need to do is go to the slide where I would like it to be displayed afterwards, and then come over here to the slide window. In this case, I'm going to choose an open text question. So maybe I'm going to ask something like, how would you describe your inbox? Okay, I'm interested to know what people think about their email inbox. Now I can choose if I want to allow my participants to allow multiple answers. If I leave this unchecked, they're only going to permit one answer per participant. And I can also choose some options here, such as when I want those results to be shown. I'm going to say shown immediately. I'm going to click Add to Presentation. And here on the left-hand side of my screen, which you're used to seeing your slides, I now have this question ready and waiting for me. Now, if I go to my presentation view, just like we saw earlier, and when I get to that slide, I'm going to advance to this question. It's automatically going to open up Slido and then present this to my audience. Now, everyone who joins this active poll can submit their answers, and we can all view them together, and myself as the instructor can get some really valuable feedback. But perhaps my favorite and also most used feature of Slido is the Audience Q&A session option. This allows me to drop in a Q&A session wherever I need to within the presentation, but it also allows my participants to ask questions throughout my presentation. How often, as a trainer, instructor, or presenter, have you been wondering what are on people's minds and what are they actually thinking about as you're delivering a presentation? Well, with Slido, you can allow them to ask questions, including giving them the ability to ask anonymously, so maybe they are just a little more honest and open about their questions as well. So in this case, I've decided to input a Q&A slide in the middle of my presentation so I can answer some questions before we continue on to new subject matter. So once again, let's go to presentation mode here just to show how seamless this will be. And when we get to this slide, it's going to open up the Q&A tab so that everyone can see what others are asking. Now, of course, you don't have to share this with all of your participants. This can also be a great way for you to filter out particular questions as well. Now, let me show you some of the advanced features which I find so useful as an instructor. So number one, you can see it's very easy to read. If I'm sharing this via Zoom, or if I'm sharing this on a big screen in a conference or in a meeting room situation, everyone else can see the questions that are coming in. But you'll also notice that participants have the opportunity to give a thumbs up on certain questions. This is so valuable from a presenter standpoint because I may not have time to answer everyone's questions, but I certainly want to answer the questions that most people are thinking about, or at least they think are valuable as well. So in this case, I can see that this first question has the most thumbs up, meaning that I want to make sure that I reserve enough time to answer this question. But the features get better than this. Let's say I want to come back to this question and I'd actually like to answer this one next. What I can do is come over here and select this icon, which is going to highlight this question and really make it stand out for everyone who is watching. Now I can spend the next few moments answering this question. Everyone knows what I'm talking about, and even though other questions may be coming in down below, this question is going to stay pinned at the very top of the screen, and it's also going to be highlighted in a color of my choice. Now, when I'm done answering this question, I can come up here and hit this check mark icon, which is actually going to remove that question, so others will stop voting for it, and it won't be so distracting to both myself as the presenter, but also my participants. I can then go and highlight another question if I want to, and start to answer it as well. So a very seamless experience. And once I'm done with my questions, all I need to do is advance to the next slide in my presentation deck. A fantastic way to keep your audience engaged, but also make it easier for yourself as the presenter. So if you want to liven up your next PowerPoint presentation and really engage your audience, I'd recommend that you use Slido. Slido is absolutely free for up to 100 participants and guarantees engagement at your next meeting. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you have questions about Slido or just presenting either online or in person, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and remember, being productive does not need to be difficult. In fact, it's very simple.